Our Humane May fundraiser is going on right now. In the month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. The weekend comes, my cycle hums, ready to race to you.
Fonzie says it's cool. And that's all you need to know. That's today's Happy Days episode. Fonzie says it's cool. We played the 30-minute episode for you, but that's pretty much the whole gist of it. It's cool. So instead, the Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. There he is on a Fantasy Friday, all the way from La Jolla, California, right outside San Diego. It's the man, the myth, the legend, number 9, first ballot Hall of Famer, Super Bowl MVP, the champion of New Orleans. That was Mr. Drew Brees with the introduction on a Fantasy Friday. Yeah, you, right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson with you. Thanks so much for checking us out. Weekday afternoons, 4 to 6. 2 big hours every weekday afternoon on the radio. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. 93.9 FM. New Orleans' own 107.9 FM. 107.9 FM. 600 AM. That's right. This show is on the AM side of the dial as well, old school. 600 AM will take you from Baton Rouge to southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, panhandle of Florida, up and down the I-10, I-12 corridor. I often forget about 1560 AM if you're in or around Slidell, that general area, 1560 AM. Yet another way to check out the program on the radio. 4 ways on the radio. Live streaming via our website, CareTalks.com. Kaare spelled K-A-A-R-E. That's right, K-A-A-R-E. CareTalks.com, live streaming. Live streaming at YouTube. Go to YouTube, go to the search bar, put in Neutral Ground, Corey Johnson. Kaboom goes the dynamite. You'll find our YouTube channel. Click to subscribe to that. Send the link to a pal or friend. Help us grow our fledgling YouTube channel. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on YouTube. Check it out live 4 to 6 weekdays. Yesterday's show, last week's show, last month's show, whatever. And the first 90 minutes of the 2-hour talk radio program, 4 to 5:30 weekdays. Check out the first 90 minutes on television all over Louisiana. Cox Channel 4 TV, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette. Spectrum, Channel 333 television. Slidell, Covington, Mandeville. That's Cheyenne country. Hammond, Houma, Thibodaux, Opelousas. Spectrum 333 television. Cox Channel 4 TV, statewide 4 to 5:30. Lots of ways to check out the program on this Fantasy Friday. A lot coming your way, including Fletcher Mackel, including Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans, Inc., including Frank Brigtsen from his restaurant. Some kind of bad news. I mean, it's just typical. No, it's not bad news like a death or something like that, but sort of. You know, how often do we say, you know, projects are going to go down? They never do in this city. I remember where what's the Buster and whatever called? What's it called? Something in Buster and whatever. Dave and Buster's, where that is on the corner of what, Loyola and Poydras, where the new Chick-fil-A was. That was going to be the city's tallest building. Big old spire, huge skyscraper, city's tallest building, taller than One Shell Square. Never happened. Trump Tower on Poydras. Never happened. Donald Trump, Trump Tower, Poydras. Never happened. Boy, Katrina, about a dozen No less than 8, 10, 12 condo projects, major multi-million-dollar condo towers. 8, 10, 12 of them around the city. None of them happened. Like, none of them. New Orleans East. Hey, the Target's coming to the Lowe's, according to the mayor. The old Lowe's, it's going to become a Target. Didn't happen. Mackey Studios, the New Orleans actor. Mackey Studios in the old Sam's and Walmart across from the Plaza site, across from the Lowe's. Reed Boulevard at I-10. Hasn't happened. Redo Lincoln Beach. No shovels in the ground. How about redo Pontchartrain Beach? When was that? A year and a half ago, that announcement? The Lakefront Management Authority rejected the lease with the Pontchartrain Beach Foundation last night. Rejected their lease. Neighbors in Lake Oaks and Lake Terrace complaining about Pontchartrain Beach's redevelopment plan, maybe with some legitimacy when they bring up two things that are pretty important. Security, where's the plan for that? And trash, litter, garbage pickup, where's the plan for that? Because I'm sure the Orleans Levee District has a plan for garbage pickup for one of their lakefront areas, specifically Franklin Avenue at Lakeshore Drive, right behind the UNO Lakefront Arena, in between the Levee and Lakeshore Drive. Why don't you go there any weekend? Go there after Memorial Day. Drive by that spot Tuesday morning. Drive by that spot Tuesday morning. This Tuesday. Lakeshore Drive and Franklin, in between the Levee and Lakeshore Drive, that little park picnicking area. There will be piles of crawfish shells, trash and litter, food rotting on tables, just trash and litter everywhere. Just a wreck. Just like some people that do not care at all went in there, had their little party and left. You can have a public beach. And then that was another complaint. $5 for children, $10 for adults. You have to charge an admission fee to go to this Pontchartrain Beach. Same thing for Lincoln Beach. If it were miles and miles of beach, that would be one thing. It's a small, isolated area. It would get overrun by too many people. It would be too hard to monitor, to control the people on the beach, much less lifeguarding and lots of people going in the water all at once. And then you'd have an insane amount of trash and a lack of security. Who would pay for it? Another problem in New Orleans. We scratch and claw the money together. After years of waiting, decades of waiting, we finally build something. And then there's no money in place to sustain the build. I remember in New Orleans East that, I don't know, what do you want to call it? That planter in between the incoming and outgoing lanes of I-10 in New Orleans East, around the, what would it be? In between the Morrison Road, Crowder, Reed, Bullard exits. They've got the, the concrete wall with the plants in between each side of the interstate. About every decade or so, they go in there and they clean it up. They put in new plants. It looks fantastic. And then in about a month or two, you see some weeds popping up. In 3 months, it's overwhelmed. In 6 months, it's more weeds than plants. And then the plants all die off and it looks like crap. Start it over again. We can redo something. We don't have the money to maintain it or sustain it. The Pontchartrain Beach redevelopment plan, done. It's been sitting idle for 40 years. It may sit idle for another 40. Those fantastic plans, those drawings, those renderings we saw, not happening. NORA, or the New Orleans Redevelopment District, says the Bayou Phoenix master plan has major flaws, major problems, and they need to redo it again. And Troy Henry's like, we're not redoing anything. And Troy Henry wants another 10 or 15 million from the city. Getting nowhere with Six Flags, as I told you, and now getting nowhere with Pontchartrain Beach. And I'd be very skeptical if we're going to get anywhere with Lincoln Beach. That's our Good Friday news. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, everyone. I am shifting gears to something more neutral and fun. Fletcher Mackel will join us in a few minutes. Michael Hecht will join us when we start the 5 o'clock power hour. Frank Brigtsen also in that 5 o'clock power hour talking food. Speaking of, how about Trey Yan in Mandeville? Tonight for dinner, Trey Yan. So good to bring a crew. They got a table or two with that Lazy Susan, the little mini table within the big round table that spins in the middle. Share all those Chinese delicacies with the table. Don't forget the Tong Cho sauce, their signature sweet and spicy Tong Cho sauce. Delicious. Over the weekend, why don't you go experience the best Chinese food anywhere? Trey Yan in Mandeville.
Our Humane May fundraiser is going on right now. In the month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family-owned and operated, Leidenheimer French bread. Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's Top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's Top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yan in Mandeville.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's families, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
River Cities Total Maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
A little bit after 4:20 on a Friday. We usually have Fletcher Mackel joining us, but we decided to take it up a level. You know, I like Fletch, and sports is great, but it's just sort of a luxury item, meaningless. News and real life stuff, that's important. So we decided to bring the real Mackel up, the investigative reporter. When he wins awards, Emmys and the like his brother, they actually mean something. They're news related, not sports related. Travers Mackel joins us on the program. What up, Travers?
That's actually pretty good. I like that. He is the more accomplished twin. There you go. But unfortunately, you're stuck with me, despite the nice, kind opening for my brother and the wishful thinking that it would be him.
Damn. What's up, Fletch?
Not a lot, Cord. You know, Bayou Boogaloo last week, and then maybe check out a little Greek Fest this weekend.
Yeah. It doesn't stop. I think Tomato Fest is next week. We just keep on rolling along here in Music Food Festival City, huh?
Mm-hmm. And the weather's been good, which has been awesome for these vendors and everything.
Yep.
Great.
Hey, all kidding aside, you're ridiculously accomplished. Your brother, you think, has more awards and accommodations than you do? I don't know about that.
No, let me say this. We do different things. I mean, what you said is, like, I cover sports, and while we're passionate about it and we love talking about it and it's cool and it's fun, it's still entertainment, not real life. I mean, you know, you live in a city and do a lot of news coverage as well, like he does and I do, but you all, and I know you kind of dabble in both, you know, I mean, there's more real life stuff happening sometimes that's a little bit more serious. And so I feel like that's, you know, always going to take precedence.
I love the investigative angle. Just your brother, Cassie Sherm, has come on strong, just like a year in the job and making her mark. David Hammer, Tyler Bridges, Lee Zurich, your old sports buddy. These people are so important. Your brother's so important, Fletch, because of there's just so much shenanigans that goes on in New Orleans and Louisiana with politicians, with contractors that have deals. I mean, I would imagine your brother doesn't go enjoy it and it's fun, but he does the dirty work and bangs on politicians' doors or contract. Hey, Travers Mackel, WDSU, could you talk to us about the contract that appears to be illegal? You know, things like that. It's 8:00 on a Sunday night. So, the community really needs those investigative reporters, especially with the newspapers not, you know, doing that job like they used to.
Yeah, no. And again, look, I think we have a lot of talented journalists here that do some really good work and hold people accountable. And so, look, for better or worse, you and I are both from here, born and raised. New Orleans has always been a colorful news town with colorful characters, sometimes doing mischievous things.
Yep.
And they're sadly, it's one of the reasons why I think we've never reached our full potential. I could get on my soapbox and philosophize about why other cities have grown and we have not, or other cities have achieved a level that we have not been able to. And while it's good for the news business and what we do, it's not always good for the citizenry and the business development of a region. No,
people like Edwin Edwards and, you know, Bill Jefferson, they're great at like a crawfish boil. You know, they're great on the weekend. And I don't know if you want them working for you as an elected official. We're great at the, 5 p.m. Friday to 9 a.m. Monday stuff, Fletch. We kind of suck at the Monday through Friday 9 to 5 stuff. We're not so good about that.
So, yeah. Or let me say this. They probably are too good at it in some regards and too good at maybe manipulating things in a way that, that isn't good. But nonetheless, his job's a little more serious. My job's a little more fun.
Yeah, it's like how I led into this: festivals, food, music. We're great at that stuff. There's no doubt about it. And you mentioned Greek Fest; they crank up in about 30 minutes. Hey, now you're a runner. They normally have the race this afternoon. I think it's tomorrow morning now. Are you going to knock that thing out or no?
I'm going to be a game time decision. I've done it for like 10 straight years. So I want to do it, but I always enjoyed it. I thought one of the great things they did, I guess 5 or 7 years ago, was they used to go straight down Wisner from where they were on the Bayou, or it would go like Wisner on the other, the facility is on St. Bernard, but they got the Bayou and then Wisner.
Yep.
They would go straight down Wisner to City Park and back. And it's fine, but it was just kind of a blah jog along the Bayou.
Yep.
A few years ago, they changed the route, and they now go out on Lake Pontchartrain. So, like, how gorgeous is it tonight at like 6:30 as the sun setting on Lake Pontchartrain? It's just like, like Norman Rockwell-esque sunset.
Yeah, no. That's brilliant. That's a brilliant
plan. I'm
plan.
telling you, it's almost therapeutic to go do the Greek Fest run on a Friday night, and fantastic. Like I said, 5 or 7 years ago, they started doing this, going out towards the lakefront and towards UNO. But I think because they're so crowded now on Friday nights, everybody wants to go on Friday nights, and then you add in 1,000 runners, it just became untenable on their footprint. So I think the idea, what somebody told me was, let's have the run on Saturday morning, because on Friday night, everybody wants to come and eat the food and experience the culture. And last year, it really was. The lines were too long, and it was too much last year on a Friday night.
Now, you also notice, I used to be married to a Greek girl. You remember when I used to work the gate and I'd have everybody flowing in nicely? I get divorced. I leave the Greek community. You have a big line. See how that works?
I guess. Go ahead and pat yourself on the back. I'm sure that's what they're saying too. That Corey Johnson left us, and it's all gone to hell in a handbag.
It's so funny you say that. I had mentioned that NORA, the redevelopment district, and Bayou Phoenix Six Flags site, they're in the news having trouble again. Pontchartrain Beach doesn't appear like it's a go. And just a few weeks ago, the Greek people were together and they said, Corey doesn't work that front gate anymore. We may have to shut down the whole festival. So you're warmer than you think, Fletch.
There you go. I figured I would be.
Yep. All right. You ready to jump into this stuff?
Sure. I'm sure people are done listening to us talk about anything other than sports.
Sadly, I think it's probably more interesting than the sports part. They can get the sports part anywhere. There are a bunch of you guys all over the place. I think there are about 4 sports talk radio programs going on right now in the city on AM and FM radio. 4 different shows.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, then let's keep talking about Greek Fest.
That would be smarter. Greek Fest.
I'm just a guest.
Yep. I'd say my Humane May fundraiser is winding down, and I'd love you and your brother to donate, but you sacks aren't going to donate. You don't care about animals. It's like the barbecue pit I gave you. You just stuck it in your attic, never even built it. It's true. It's true. I got the barbecue pit. Not really grill master. I said, Corey, great. Got a gift. Really didn't even thank him for it. Screw him. And I just stuck the thing up in the attic, It sort of sucks. I mean, gives me the stupid barbecue pit, and now I got to store it.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of paying attention to you still, but not entirely.
Fletch, you know what I'm going to start doing? Pretending I'm having you on live, and I'm just going to do both voices.
Sure, you should call Jacques Doucet from WAFD in Baton Rouge. He does a pretty good Mackel impersonation.
Are you kidding me? I get Jacques to come on. He could do Corey and you and him, and you, me, him. None of us would have to show up. Well, him.
Just do every voice.
Yep, and do a little Jim Hawthorne. Jim Hawthorne?
Yeah.
It's scary good. Yep.
Yeah.
Jim Hawthorne scared me one day, Fletch.
Yeah, why is that?
When I retire, I'm thinking about going into country music. I love country music. I'm going to sing country ballads. I'm like, please don't.
Whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
I'm all about people pursuing their dreams.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Corey Johnson with Fletcher Mackel, desperately trying to avoid the sports topics. Fletch, speaking of pursuing one's dreams, when you're at like a Circle K or one of those convenience stores and you go, hey man, how you doing? And the guy behind the counter goes, living the dream. What do you think about that when he's saying that? He's working the counter at the Circle K.
I think that he's being self-deprecating, or he's just being flat out, I don't necessarily think that, look, living the dream could mean anything. I don't know what kind of tough life.
He could be in denial. He could just be a real positive force that,
he could be. Like if I ask, an NFL draft pick from last month, how's it going? And he's like, just living the dream. I believe that is more sincere.
Michael Block was living the dream last week.
Right. Then somebody who seems to be in a job that doesn't look like a career and would say living the dream, I would probably take that a little bit more, tongue in cheek and not think that it was quite as serious.
Yep, exactly. Uh-oh. Jason saying we have a minute till we break, and then we're going to get into sports. Speaking of Michael Block, what a great story that was last week, huh? I mean, that's just as rare as it gets, huh?
Yeah, I mean, a guy who couldn't make it on the tour, became a club pro, gets a chance, and, then becomes like Tin Cup, like Kevin Costner in the movie Tin Cup. Just has a great week, makes a name for himself. It was great.
No, really, it was incredible. Fletcher Mackel's with us. I promise you, when we come back, we actually are going to talk sports. It's Fridays with Fletcher Mackel from Channel 6, WDSU, sports reporter, sports blogger, sports anchor, sports director. Got a lot to jump into. Michael Block, LSU women visiting the White House, Saints camp, NBA playoffs, and more. Stick around, New Orleans.
Our Humane May fundraiser is going on right now. In the month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org. There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
At Home Paint and Decorating, our paints are in it for the long haul. In fact, our top Benjamin exterior paints come with a lifetime warranty. Not 25 years, not 50 years, we mean forever. You heard right. At Helm Paint, our top exterior paints have a lifetime warranty against chipping, peeling, and flaking. They also are mildew resistant. Imagine painting your home one time and being done with it. Visit any one of our locations today and make that once-in-a-lifetime purchase. Paint that has a lifetime warranty. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer. Fletcher Mackel is with us from WDSU Channel 6 Sports, who said it so well going into that break. Couldn't say it better, just quick, succinct, and to the point. Hey, Michael Block's a guy who couldn't make it on the PGA Tour, and he's a club pro. It's like Tin Cup, and that's exactly it. Fletch, I shouldn't say how do you explain it. You just did. He shoots 3 70s in a row and then a 71 at the PGA. It's insanely tough conditions. Almost like a U.S. Open or British Open type rough, tough course. Most of the players were struggling. This guy ties for 15th, the ace, the incredible up and down on 18. He gets a player's exemption to Fort Worth, the Colonial. I said on Wednesday, he's not going to make the cut, folks, but I figured he'd be, 20, 30 off the tail end. He's on the tail end. He's dead last, 15 over. It just really goes to show you how hard it is to play on the PGA Tour, how great these players are, and also how amazing last week was. This is the golfer he is pretty much. Maybe better than this, but nowhere near as great as he was last week. He played the 1 in 100 4-day tournament, and it happened to be a major, Fletch.
Yeah, look, and I don't know if he'll ever be able to capture lightning in a bottle, so to say, again.
Never, ever will again.
Right. And look, obviously the guy's a good enough player. He played on the tour. He just couldn't make it on the tour. And then my father was a country club golf pro, a municipal golf club pro.
Yep.
And so there's nothing wrong with that, but he had moved into a different aspect of his life. It would be kind of like, just for parallels, because we all like parallels, and I think we have a really well-educated football fan base. It would be like a guy that had been, a 4th-string running back practice squad player for the Saints, going into coaching and doing private lessons and football lessons, and then getting a chance to, get signed to an active roster and then playing in the NFC Championship game and returning a punt for a touchdown. You know what I mean? It's stories like that you just, and again, that player may never attain that level of success again. I don't know if this is going to spark him on to greatness, but nonetheless, it was an amazing story this week. He's got some sponsors exemptions now. He's got a chance to go back next year.
He's got some sponsors. I saw Raising Cane's on his sleeve.
Yeah, and some of these tournaments gave him sponsors exemptions to play in the next few weeks because he's a good story.
Yep.
Again, it's a good story. I think it would be, there's nothing wrong with a good story that doesn't continue for ever and ever or for years. It was a great story, and he had a great week, and it's made him a lot of money and a lot of popularity, which is fantastic.
Yep.
But like some people, I saw the negativity of, he's going to embarrass himself going forward. He's not going to embarrass himself. He may not make any more cuts this year in the tournaments he got into, but what a great week he had.
Yes.
And what a great story it was.
No, he never had a bad round. He even said, I was expecting Saturday or Sunday at the PGA to be a disaster, one of those days to not work out. It just never happened, and it happened yesterday at Colonial. It's happening today. He's literally going to finish dead last. The thing I guess he has to watch out for, the other day he was in an interview and they were like, you played with Rory. What's the biggest difference between you? It's just like distance. Rory bombs it and I don't. If I hit it that far, I'd be one of the best players in the world. My chipping, putting, iron game's world class. His chipping and putting and iron game isn't world class, and lack of driver distance isn't the reason he's not a PGA pro, and he wouldn't be one of the best in the world. Justin Rose hits it about as far as he does. So off the tee. I think that comment he caught a lot of crap for too, Fletch. I love this Michael Block story, but I don't hit it as far as Rory McIlroy, and that's the reason I'm not on the PGA Tour. Coupled with I'd be one of the best in the world if I simply drove it that far. It's a lot more than that, right?
Yeah, I agree. And here's the thing. He doesn't hit it as far as those guys consistently.
He's 45 years old.
But that's the thing. But that's not the only reason. Look, the strength of his game is obviously his short game. But there's guys that don't hit it as far that are just masterful with the short game, and they made it as a career on the PGA Tour. I would say that if he hit it further, yes. Again, I keep making these crazy parallels to other sports. It's like a pitcher who throws 88 miles an hour instead of 98 miles an hour going, man, if I threw as hard as those
exactly.
guys, not just the velocity.
Yep.
There's more to it than just that.
No, if I had a little more size, speed, quickness, better hands, were taller, heavier, physical, had more desire, passion, didn't quit, I'd be an NFL wide receiver right now, Fletch.
Right. And so, but again, I think he's a good player. He couldn't make it with the best of the best.
No, exactly.
He had a great week where he did make it with the best.
Exactly. And that's what makes that so great. That's what makes the PGA thing so great, because what we're seeing this week is really what he is. It's just
Let me say this. This is one of those things, like, once you've reached a certain level, like if you go to minor league baseball, if you go to top-notch football, there's guys in the USFL right now playing football that if you put them in a game on a Sunday with the Saints, a large swath of them will be able to play.
Right.
Will they be able to play consistently?
Exactly.
That's the fine line between the guys that do it for a long time and the guys that don't. His game is the game of a PGA player. He just couldn't find the consistency or the sustainability to make it. Just like a minor league baseball player, there's a guy in AA right now that if you put him in the big leagues tonight, he can probably definitely get out.
But not next game and not consistently.
Right. Can he do it consistently enough is the guy who is his counterpart, and that is in the big leagues? Probably not. And what are the reasons for that? Sure, of course. It's distance for a golfer. It's velocity for a pitcher. But that's figuring out the fine line between athletes at a certain level is very, very small.
Was your dad ever good enough where he even was trying to be a pro golfer?
Yeah, I mean, he played like in the New Orleans Open a few times on an exemption and had kicked around on some of, they used to call it like the mini tours before it was like, the Corn Ferry.
Yeah.
My dad would be 80 years old now, so we're talking 60 years
If there was a Corn Ferry then, could he have possibly made it?
Let me say this. I don't know.
Because you can make a living on that tour to get to the PGA, where the satellite thing your dad was doing probably in Florida and Texas, you can't make a living doing that.
No, and then obviously you turn to like the country club route or the PGA of America and stuff like that. So again, we're talking about like a time and a place that, to answer that question, because he's my father, I'd like to romanticize it and go, boy, I wish that was around that. But who knows? Maybe his game wouldn't have translated and it would have been the same story in today's world.
All right, let me ask you a crazy golf question that no one cares about except a few golf purists in town. Even considering Tommy Moore and Kelly Gibson and knowing your dad and all his friends and all the history and your brother and all the talking y'all had in your lives, Could you argue Stan Stoppa's the best golfer out of New Orleans ever?
Stan Stoppa won a individual national championship in golf, which I don't know if anybody, look, David Toms didn't do that. I can't think of his name right now, from Shreveport, Sam Burns didn't do that. I mean, Stan Stoppa won a national championship for UNO as a golfer.
He needed a bogey on the final hole, a par 5, to make the PGA Tour, and he doubled it. And there was no Corn Ferry, so there was nowhere for him to go. And a lot of folks I talked to were like, Stan Stoppa was the best player ever.
Well, let me say this. It's one of those things. There's a lot of guys, and look, I love Stan. I've known Stan my whole life. Everybody's talked about Stan's game and how renowned he was as a player. But I don't want to take anything away from Tommy Moore, who won on the Canadian Tour and played on the PGA Tour, and Kelly Gibson, who played for a decade plus on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, and U.S. Opens, yep.
Right, and so, again, and then we start getting very subjective of what metrics are we using.
No, you're right, you're right.
You're right. Like, would I argue this? Look, Tommy Moore went to Oklahoma State. Kelly went to Lamar and played with a lot of great Texas golfers. Would I say Stan was a better college golfer? Sure, he won a national championship.
Stan could have gone anywhere to college. He had offers to every golf school in America, and he just went to UNO. Chose to stay home.
He was from here, and he won a national championship. The thing is, though, he didn't translate it, and I don't mean it as an indictment. It's just a fact, because, again, I love Stan. It didn't translate at the professional level at the consistent way it did in college. Whereas Kelly found consistency to be able to keep his tour card every single year for a decade. And Tommy Moore, had he not gotten sick, could have probably played on the tour for, I know, like, he transitioned into being a teaching pro as well, but those guys played on the tour. So I think those three are probably the three greatest golfers in the city's history. But who was the greatest? I'm sure they'd all be very complimentary of each other's teams and talk about how great they all were.
No, the teaching pro Larry out at the City Park driving range, folks say he was incredible.
Yeah, Larry Griffin was a great golfer back in the day. And so, again, and look, here's the thing. We talk about that all the time. There's great athletes in all sports that don't advance to the next level because of injury, inconsistency, and it doesn't mean they weren't great. It just means that at a certain time and place, it has to end for everybody, and it ended for different people. And there are late bloomers where, hey, guys get better as they age and mature and learn. Like, I would argue that was Kelly. Kelly was a good player in college and ended up playing on the tour for a decade plus. Like, he kept evolving and growing and getting better when he was in his late 20s and into his 30s.
Hey, can you stick around one last segment? Talk Tulane LSU baseball and the LSU Tigers at the White House.
Yeah.
NBA playoffs. Fletcher Mackel's with us. Still got a lot to cover. Another edition of Fridays with Fletch. Sometimes we get into stuff that's not sports related too.
Our Humane May fundraiser is going on right now. In the month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Ooh la la, that's what I said. Ooh la
Leidenheimer. That's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
River Cities Total Maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
At Helm Paint, we go the extra mile with free delivery anywhere in the metro area. In the middle of a job and short on paint? Call us and we'll come to you.
Short on time? Call in your order and pick it up in the drive-thru at our Earhart Boulevard location.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Lebanon's Cafe is open right now. They'll go till 9:30. I'm telling you, like after 7:30, the weather's perfect for outdoor dining. How about the low humidity today? Outdoor dining, under the green awning, under the oak trees, on the streetcar line. Get that outdoor dining in while you can, because soon we're going to be dining inside till October. Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest Middle Eastern food tonight for dinner. Fletcher Mackel's with us. Another edition of Fridays with Fletch. Fletch, the NIL thing is interesting. I'm fine with it. I'm not critical of it. When Angel Reese came off the plane from Dallas in the national championship, she had 2 Louis Vuitton bags on her arm and one from Neiman Marcus. And that's fine. I'm not dogging it. She's at the White House today. Just a diamond-crusted, it looks like a Cartier tank watch. It's just cool. I mean, what's her name? Livy Dunn is 3rd in NIL money. She makes about $3.5 million a year. She pulls about $300,000 a month. She's pulling $75,000 a week at LSU. And Angel Reese, 6 months ago, was pulling about $300,000-400,000. Right when the tournament started, double that. Now that the tournament's over and she's Angel Reese and it's national champs, triple that or more. The NIL money, it's changed the game, but not as dramatically, I guess, as I thought it was going to be. Your thoughts?
So I agree with you, and I'm glad that athletes can make money off of their name, image, and likeness. I think it's great. And the people you just highlighted are doing fantastic because of it, and there's many more. The one thing I don't love about it, because of what we're going to see, what we are seeing now and what we're going to continue to see, is college sports is basically especially for the primo programs, when Nick Saban said last year it's haves and have-nots, it's have and it's have-nots. And it's only going to continue to widen. And a perfect example is going to continue to be basketball and baseball. Football is going to be a little different, but still going to be affected by it. But basketball and baseball, you're going to see a program recruit a kid. Kid's going to become the freshman of the year at Tulane or UNO or a mid-tier non-Power 5. And as soon as that happens, the Power 5 is going to have more NIL money, more power, more prestige, more chance to showcase their ability.
Enter the transfer portal, and you'll have $500,000 in your bank account by the time you arrive in Ann Arbor.
Here's the thing. Look at the LSU baseball team. It's the best money. It's the best money NIL can buy. I mean, Tommy White is an elite player. He was the freshman of the year in college baseball. He hit 27 home runs at NC State. LSU offered him an NIL deal, better program, chance to go to Omaha, better atmosphere, showcase yourself. And oh, by the way, LSU has the most NIL money in college baseball because this is a college-rich baseball area, and North Carolina is not. NC State. So guess what? Tommy White packed his bags, headed to LSU. I mean, and basketball is going to be the same way. So I love the fact that these athletes are able to cash in by doing. I've got the TV on mute right now. I just saw Brayden Jobert, the LSU outfielder, do a car commercial. Like, that's great for him. He's making money off of his athletic abilities.
Yep.
But the downfall of it is it's really going to be as we continue to move in this world, open transfer NIL. We're going to see like 40 power programs with the most money and the most NIL money in the best facilities and the best fans versus the other 200 that could maybe break through once a decade, but it's going to be so hard for them to sustain because once they look, I mean, here's the thing. Like, Haley Van Lith, star player at Louisville, graduated early. Where's she going? Right to the college national champions with NIL money and Kim Mulkey and star players, and she's transferring right in. She's not staying at Louisville. She's coming to LSU to make more money while she's in college. So, again, I love it, and I think it's great. But the downfall is going to be you're going to see a lot of programs in ruins that they play, but it's mostly just for fun, that they can't really compete.
You played baseball at Loyola, didn't you?
I did.
Could you imagine go back in the 90s, Jason? Hey, it's Fletcher Mackel for Dough Bowl Pizza next to the boot. Hey, it's Fletcher Mackel. I don't smoke weed, but if I did, I'd get my bong from the mushroom above the boot.
So, I mean, look, and again, there's certain things NIL can't do, but I know what you're saying is that, yes, and look, a lot of these athletes, we hear about like these On3 websites do these valuations of what these athletes are worth or what they could.
That's where I got the Livy Dunn third and Reese's numbers all from that site.
Right, and look, that's not official. They may make more than that.
Exactly.
Than that.
Exactly. You're right, Fletch. You're right.
But the thing is, there's a lot of athletes. Like I'm looking at again, Brayden Jobert just did a commercial for like Homa Buick or something like that. What did they give him? 10 grand? That's great.
Yeah.
Or 15 grand?
Yeah.
Like that's awesome. Like that's money that he can use to start creating a nest egg potentially for like when he graduates college or when he finishes pro ball. So there's a lot of deals like, at the, small sliders in Baton Rouge or at a mom and pop here. If they want to sign a guy up, it can happen.
I told Cooper Manning, look, Fletcher and I'll split Arch's NIL money, and he wouldn't go for it. No money for Arch in the NIL market by choice. He could be pulling millions of dollars. He could have been pulling north of $1 million in high school. Anyway, Fletch, have a great Memorial Day weekend. We're out of time. Can't even talk NBA playoffs and Saints or any of that. Amazing.
Maybe next week.
Maybe. Thanks, Fletch. That's Fletcher Mackel from WDSU Channel 6 Sports. That's Blue Boy. What, buddy? Why do I even get that guy on the program? That's a good question, Blue Boy. Get Travers on, not Fletcher. All right, Blue. All right. What else? Stick around. 5 o'clock powwow next. Good
You're
boy.
on the Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox
Down,
Channel
buddy.
4 and Spectrum
Quiet
Channel
on a
333.
Fantasy Friday.
Also on
Quiet.
YouTube. On radio at NOLA
Let
Talk
Ken Friend
93.9
speak,
FM.
buddy.
WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend and Company Fine Jewelers Breitling time, 5 p.m.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center. It's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria. Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us steer you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here's New Orleans native son, Corey Johnson.
New Orleans City Councilman Freddie King joins us.
So I want to first say thanks for having me. And believe it or not, man, I used to listen to your show all the time driving home. So it's an honor to be on.
Freddie, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you on the program. Thanks.
The official afternoon talk show of the city of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the Neutral Ground, where New Orleans is heard.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
being a part of people's lives from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Flintstones, meet the Flintstones, they're the Flintstone family. From
The 60s cartoons, clearly the best, not even close, never to be duplicated. Cartoons that adults could watch and kids still loved and laughed at. Flintstones, Jetsons, Johnny Quest. Bugs Bunny, all high quality. I mentioned the serial rapist guy with the kids at the junkyard. That was a great cartoon. If you're not careful, you might learn something. But I'm not going to mention the serial rapist guy. Yeah, you, right? Fantasy Friday edition of the program. 5 o'clock power hour coming your way. Corey Johnson with you. 5 o'clock power hour this afternoon brought to you by Fausto's Italian Bistro and Vets. They just opened their doors for the evening. Dinner 5 to 10 p.m. tonight. Dinner 5 to 10 p.m. tomorrow night. Go experience some of the city's best Sicilian and Italian. You will not be disappointed. Priced right, authentic, easy parking, great service. Outdoor dining. Low humidity today. In about an hour, it's going to be so comfortable. Fausto's Italian Bistro and Vets, 5 o'clock pow hour. Brought to you by Fausto's on a Fantasy Friday. Memorial Day weekend, an extended weekend for many. No worky on Monday. Hey, our Humane May fundraiser is winding down. Wednesday, May 31st, this Wednesday, final day in May. We're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana, and we are still thousands and thousands of dollars short of reaching that goal by Wednesday. Please step up. Let's save some animals, some cats and dogs, kittens and puppies, goats, horses. Make sure animals are treated humanely. They aren't suffering. You can do that and feel good about that donation. $5, $10, $50, $100. Please go to their website right now, humanela.org. Humanela.org. You'll see the Humane May fundraiser banner right at the top of the website. You'll see me laying on a sofa under a blanket with Blue Boy. Click on that and then click on donate. It'll put up $35 automatically. You can change that number. Less if you want to, more ideally if you want to. HumaneLA.org is the website. HumaneLA.org on this Fantasy Friday. Please donate. Our Humane May fundraiser ends Wednesday. Yeah, we won't reach the goal if you don't donate. Our listening audience, our viewing audience, that's how we hit the goal. Humane May, trying to raise $10,000 in the month of May for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Go to the website right now, humanela.org, and donate. Hey, the gates just opened at Greek Fest 2023. This is like the 48th year of Greek Fest. What a great festival, too. Pure Greek Fest. They don't sell out and bring in crawfish pies. They don't sell out and bring in local music. I respect that. It's pure Greek food, Greek music. 5 to 11 today, 11 till 11 tomorrow, 11 to 8 on Sunday. Just $10 to get in. Kids under 12 are free. The Lamb and so much more. Just a really great festival, Greek Fest going on at Bayou St. John and Allen Toussaint Boulevard. Bayou St. John by Wisner, St. Bernard Avenue, down by the lake. I love getting this guy on the program each and every week. Michael Hecht joins us from Greater New Orleans, Inc. This segment always brought to you by Latrim. How you doing, Michael?
Doing great, KJ. So you're telling me I can't get like a fried churro on a stick at Greek Fest?
You can't get a hot dog or a hamburger. You can't get crawfish sack. You can't get any of that stuff. You're not going to check out Cyril Neville. No, it's pure Greek. It's going to be somebody. What's the little guitar called? Kabuzi? Kazuki, what's that little?
Hey, you need to get to Greek Fest, my friend.
Well, I'm divorced, I used to be married to a Greek girl, so I forgot the bazooki or gazuki, whatever it's called.
Yeah, apparently. Is that what it said in the divorce paper?
Yep, you can forget bazooki now and move on. No, I'll tell you what. The divorce, all my friends are like, dude, greatest divorce ever. No, we still get along great. I see her, my former mother-in-law, about every 6 months. I love the Greek community. And I'm not just saying that, Michael, just really tight, really cohesive. Oldest Greek church in the Western Hemisphere. It's you go to other cities, there could be 3, 4, 5 Greek churches, like in Ohio or something, much bigger Greek communities. But New Orleans has one. It's tight. And all over the lakefront, back then, uptown Old Metairie, that was like blue blood territory. If you were Jewish or Greek or Arab or something, Italian, you had to go live out by the lakefront.
No, I agree. We need to do a better job celebrating the distinct cultures here. Like I had dinner last night at the Kaare NOLA, run by a young Senegalese chef, and it was just fantastic. And we were sitting across from a social media person, and she was saying that she's trying to go and highlight all these other niches that we have in New Orleans, besides the stuff that is totally true, but a bit, incomplete. And you're right. The Lebanese, community here, which you are part of, so significant.
Yep.
The Scandinavian one. So no, I agree. Totally.
I'm part of that one too. My biggest regret in life is not using an umlaut over one of the A's in my name. I think that would have just been a chick magnet, Michael.
It would have taken you up by like 15%. It would have taken you from like a 6 to a 6.75.
Exactly. Instantly. Literally. Just the little double dot over one of the A's in Corey, and it would have just been a whole different life for me. I blew it. Hey, Michael, I'm going to knock out the sour stuff quickly, and then we're going to move on to the more positive. NORA says the Bayou Phoenix master plan has major flaws, is lacking big time. The Pontchartrain Beach redevelopment plan, Lakefront Management Authority, rejects the lease with the Pontchartrain Beach Foundation. Six Flags, Pontchartrain Beach going nowhere right now. We love announcing things. Target coming to the Lowe's in the East, and then just it implodes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that both of these projects have a lot of merit on their face.
Yep.
I've seen the plan they have for Bayou Phoenix, and the idea of putting kind of like what they have at the OWA out in Alabama.
Yep.
But putting that here, the recreation, the sports fields, it makes tons of sense.
Totally. That Arnie Philco talked about Field of Dreams 20 years ago out there.
Right. I don't need a market study for that. Now, I can't speak to the particulars. And also reopening Pontchartrain Beach. Of course, that's a good thing.
Lincoln Beach, West End, all overdue.
All of it stuff. And so, the thing that is weird and is a shame is, why doesn't this stuff get worked out, in private before it spills out onto the front page of the paper? It's just, everybody who does these things knows there's a rhythm. You have the meeting before the meeting. And it's not that things are being done in secret. It's just that you are working out differences. So when you come together formally, you're in agreement and can move forward. And you don't have this kind of negative, gossipy backwards momentum. And it's a shame. I mean, I think both these projects will get done eventually because, again, they have merit prima facie.
Yep.
But it's just too bad we have to go through this Sturm and Drang to get there.
Hey, how about Pan American Life buying this Ohio firm? That little local insurance company's a small monster, aren't they?
Yeah, I want to talk about them because they're one of these companies like a Latrim, operating all over the world, literally world class, but you don't just hear about them that much because they serve the whole world and they're not making hot sauce, or music. So you have in Pan American Life that's headquartered here, over 2,200 employees worldwide in over 20 countries, 300 to 400 here.
Wow.
They just redeveloped their office downtown. This is a outstanding company that we should, we need 10 of them and 10 Latrums.
Yeah.
That's really what we need.
No, we'd be Nashville, Austin, headed towards Atlanta, Dallas, Houston as far as economy. You're so right. Michael, anything you'd like to hit on before we call it a day?
We can talk about Breeze Airlines adding 2 more destinations and 40 new employees. That's outstanding news that we have there.
What is that? The Los Angeles flight and Connecticut
flight? Yeah, and Breeze is like Southwest and JetBlue had a love child, and they're headquartered. They're putting jobs at our airport.
Yep.
So that's one, definitely to keep an eye on. And just in general, I've been talking to all of our hospitality people.
Wait, Michael. I'm heading to the 16 after break. I see the train coming. Hold that thought till next Friday, okay?
You got it, brother. Listen, have a great Greek Fest.
Our Humane May fundraiser is going on right now.
Michael, thank you.
In the month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Since 1896, a true taste of New Orleans. Leidenheimer French bread.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe. In the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today, and we'll meet our competitive prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Every day we broadcast live from the Buddy Diliberto, River City's Total Maintenance Studios. It's getting hot out there. Although the humidity's low today, it's nice. But soon, we're on the brink of it. You know it. Summertime's coming. Got to have that air conditioning working right. If you need air conditioning help, River City's Total Maintenance has you covered. Honest air conditioning experts that come immediately. Honest, incapable of screwing you around. Experts, meaning they know their business, diagnosing your problem correctly and quickly. And speaking of quickly, coming immediately because your AC's not working. Honest air conditioning experts that come immediately. River City's Total Maintenance. Find them at NOLAAC.com. NOLAAC.com. Let's head to the River Bend. We do it every Friday around this time. Frank Brigtsen joins us from his award-winning restaurant. What up, Frank?
Well, yeah, Corey. GGIF.
That says it all, man. Thank goodness it is Friday, huh?
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a great weekend.
Hey, do you smell that lamb on the spigot all the way from Greek Fest? That smells good.
Oh, man, I love that. I love Greek Fest. The food is so good.
They do a really good job out there. The whole lamb on the rotisserie. How do you even know when that's anywhere near ready? Have you ever? I mean, I shouldn't say have you ever. When you do huge animals like that on a spigot, how do you know when they're ready, Frank?
There's only one way to know, and that's a meat thermometer.
Yep.
Generally with lamb, even a whole lamb like that, I would push for medium rare, which is about 145. And when you take it off, it's going to continue to cook. The bigger it is, the more it's going to continue to cook.
Wow.
It has so much retained heat.
Wow.
So, yeah, if you wanted to get to, a nice rosy color in there, I would stop about 140. And it'll continue to cook, especially if you cover with foil, just like you do your turkey.
Yeah. Boy, nothing more irritating, Frank, when you pull a steak off the grill too early, cut into it, and it's not cooked right, and you have to put it back on the grill. One side of me is almost like I sort of ruined it, when that's not true at all. But I'm sort of like, I don't know if it's I just want to get it right the first time, which happens most of the time, but nothing worse than having to put it back on the grill again.
Yeah, with steaks, it's generally cooked by touch.
Yep.
Meat is soft when it's raw and firmer when it's cooked, so you can kind of tell by how much give it has. Or if you want rare, it's going to be very soft. Medium rare just begins to firm up, and you can also tell by the juices. The juices will turn they're red and rosy, and then turn clear, and that means you've hit medium and beyond.
Frank, I don't know about you, but I mean, I like eating stuff hot. And when I grill a steak, I pull it off the grill and the knife is cutting into that steak within 60 seconds on my plate with all the sides, ideally. I know a lot of folks, they pull meat off. They want it to sit to retain the juices and all that. I'll just say two things about that. Does a lot of juice come out of the steak when I cut into it? Sure. But then I can just sop up that juice with the steak bite that I'm eating. And second, it's not like the steak I'm eating is dry. It's very juicy. But I want it hot, so I'd eat it fresh off the grill. Is that a mistake?
No, I think that's exactly the way I like it too. You know, it's sort of a pet peeve of mine in the restaurant that food is at its best when it's piping hot.
Yep.
And that's kind of part of the reasons why our system is the way it is. Our waiters don't work in sections. They don't use trays, plate covers, anything like that. We want the food to go from the stove to the table in the shortest amount of time. What I love to see is steam coming off the plate when the customer is looking at it. That's when it's at its best. There's no question about it.
You mean my entree at Brigtsen's the other night wasn't sitting under a heat lamp for 20 minutes?
What's a heat lamp?
Exactly. What a bad invention that thing is. This ain't Burger King. Frank Brigtsen's with us from his world-class restaurant, Brigtsen's. I wanted to ask you another steak question. What did I want to ask you about steak, Frank? Something important, too.
This is the time of year when people start grilling more outside, and the steak's certainly a great option.
Yep.
One thing that I like to do, and this is a very simple and subtle thing, but either buy some Italian salad dressing, Italian vinaigrette, or make a little bit yourself, and marinate the steak for 15 minutes. That's it. You won't taste it. It doesn't overpower the steak, but for some reason, it makes that steak taste better.
What are you marinating it in again?
Italian dressing.
Wow.
Like a simple vinaigrette.
Yeah.
And no more than 15 minutes, seriously.
Interesting.
Yep. You were talking about summertime, Corey. You know what summertime means?
What?
Creole tomatoes.
Oh, that was what I wanted to ask you. Not about steaks, about Creole tomatoes. You got me back on my plan. I was mentioning I like the steak hot off the grill, and I want to get into it right away. You're going to slap my hand on this one because I admit I'm wrong. A Creole tomato, I don't know why, but when you eat it at room temperature, like 72 degrees, it's more flavor than if you refrigerate it, but I like the tomato cold. So I guess I'm sacrificing a little Creole tomato flavor by eating it at refrigerator temperature than room temperature. But I know how you eat it, room temperature, because I am right about that. The flavor of that Creole more intense at 72 degrees than 40 degrees, right?
Yeah, that's correct. But I forgive you.
All right.
If I'm eating a tomato on a sandwich, I think it's a cold tomato is actually the better way to go. But if I'm serving a Creole tomato salad here at Brigtsen's, we take a few tomatoes out beforehand and let them get room temp. And once they're ripe, you have to refrigerate them. Once they're fully ripe, you have to refrigerate them. But we take them out an hour or hour and a half before service so that when we serve it, it's room temp because the cold locks in the flavor.
Yep.
The full flavor will be greatly reduced. But to me, I look forward to Creole tomato season as much or more as I do crawfish season.
I'm telling you, Creoles are incredible. I know you've got a great place that you get them. I mean, a Creole tomato cut thick with some jumbo lump crab meat, fresh and local, maybe a Haas avocado sliced up, toss in a Vidalia onion. I mean, you mentioned that vinaigrette for the steak marinade. I'll just put olive oil, lemon, salt, and black pepper on that, and that's pretty damn good, Frank.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to do much to it, and I really love black pepper on a tomato.
Cracked black pepper.
Yeah, exactly. We talked to our Creole tomato farmer, and we will have them Tuesday. So we're going to add our salad to the menu. It's a Creole tomato salad with Fidelia onions, pesto, balsamic vinaigrette, and we garnish that with ricotta salata cheese, which is a hard grated ricotta. And the flavors, there's the classic caprese salad in Italy, which is tomato, basil, mozzarella. Tomatoes and basil is like peanut butter and jelly. So instead of basil leaves or chiffonata basil, we make pesto and then add balsamic vinegar and extra virgin olive oil, so you get it in the dressing.
Wow.
And that's the way we serve it. And that's been the same for many, many years here at Brigtsen's, because I just can't make it any better than that.
Yeah, that sounds incredible. I guess as crawfish fades out, Creoles fade in.
That's right. I think the crawfish are really at their end. We still have we're still using tails on our seafood platter as a fish sauce. But that's it. The crawfish cornbread as well. But they'll fade out usually at the end of May, and here we are. So
now, I was mentioning yesterday, Frank, this crawfish season. I'm 56 years old. I've lived in New Orleans my whole life. This crawfish season, I had 3 of the best crawfish dishes in my entire life. I had this crawfish empanada appetizer at La Boca, which was fried it with, it was like the best crawfish pie ever. I mean, I went back like 2 nights later and got 2 of them. And then I went to this place. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not. It's called Brigtsen's. Not once.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, not once, but twice. Crawfish and corn soup, which was one of the best cups of soup I've ever eaten in my life, literally. And then a few weeks later, I mentioned this last week, crawfish etouffee and jambalaya are a couple of the most abused dishes in Louisiana. Everyone makes them. Most folks that do make them, they're terrible. Etouffee is just like tomatoey based, orange, nasty. Crawfish etouffee is like brown rice and some, sausage cut up in little quarter pieces. Looks like a little doubloon tossed in there, and that's jambalaya. So I almost avoid those dishes because they're painfully average or even bad. And then I hear Brigtsen's has a crawfish etouffee appetizer. And I asked the main guy there, is it tomato or orange, red base? Like, no, it's brown. I'm thinking Manditch on St. Claude with their brown crawfish etouffee. I got it as an appetizer one night. A few nights later, I got it to go order 2 appetizers of it and made it an entree and ate that for dinner. The crawfish etouffee, Frank, and that crawfish and corn soup, my God.
Thank you, Corey. I appreciate that very much. We went through, and we're a small restaurant, but we went through about 80 pounds of crab ball this season, boiling crawfish for our soups and stocks, things like that. But anyway, it was a great run. It was a good year for crawfish, I think. Everybody had their fun. And now we're hoping for a good shrimp season, crab meat to be more available. Soft shells are popping a little bit. We got a couple dozen in today.
Nice.
So we're excited about that.
It's funny, Frank, you would think crawfish and shrimp are just entirely interchangeable, irrelevant what you use. But in some dishes, I guess that applies, but not for many. I don't think you could do your barbecue shrimp with crawfish tails and it would be as good. And I don't think the shrimp and corn soup's going to be as good as crawfish and corn soup. And I don't think the shrimp, etouffee is going to be as good as crawfish etouffee. Am I right or wrong on that?
No, I think there's a lot of truth to that. Those dishes were designed specifically to showcase the crawfish. And I think that's the way I cook. I want to bring out the best in the ingredients. I remember making a barbecue crawfish once.
How was it?
Like the barbecue shrimp. It must have been a guess with an allergy or something. It was terrible.
It was terrible.
It was terrible.
Wow.
It just doesn't work.
Wow. No, it seems like similar items, similar crustaceans, but not at all. Hey, we missing anything, Frank?
That's about it. Looking forward to that. We'll start to do some crab meat appetizers.
Nice.
We're thinking about a truffle crab meat salad on top of Creole tomato with some pickled beets. That'll be showing up in maybe a week or so. So we're changing gears and revamping the menu for the summer.
Corey's lamb chops with jumbo lump crab meat on top.
I'm sorry I lost you.
You said that once upon a time about chicken, and you have that airline chicken breast on the menu now.
Yeah, we actually gave that a rest too because we switched over to seafood okra gumbo.
Wow.
And we don't need the chicken for our gumbo, so it doesn't sell enough on the entree part. So we have shrimp and okra gumbo with andouille sausage right now.
Nice.
And that's blowing out the window. I mean, everybody's loving that. It's a nice change up for us.
I bet. But boy, the chicken and andouille is so good too. But yeah,
it is.
The gumbos would be a good change. You're right.
Yeah, it's a seasonal thing, seafood gumbo for summertime. So we're rethinking things and really excited about it.
Hey, Frank, any openings tonight or tomorrow night at Brigtsen's?
I just looked at tonight. It looks pretty solidly booked. Give a try for tomorrow. Marna's on the phone right now. And come see us next week. Next week is what I call Beach Week. Everybody's in Florida or wherever they go, and we'll have some reservations very readily available. We slow down in June, and so it's a great time to come see us. I appreciate it.
Tuesday through Saturday night, what, 5 to 8:30?
That's correct.
Brigtsen's phone number is 861-7610, 861-7610. Check them out online, brightsens.com. You can get to-go orders as well from their to-go menu or from their regular menu at brightsens.com. Frank, always a pleasure, brother.
Thank you, Corey. Have a great weekend, New Orleans. We love you.
That's Frank Brigtsen joining us from his world-famous restaurant. Almost 40 years, Brigtsen's on Dante Street, right off River Road. Easy parking at that Dante Village Shopping Center, about 20 feet away, literally. Now, I love Brigtsen's. So good. And Frank's not on hold anymore, so I can say this. He's not going to hear it. If I owned Brigtsen's, I'd jack up everything on the menu a few bucks. Every soup, salad, appetizer would be at least $2 more, maybe $3 and even $4. And then entrees would be somewhere between like $4 and $8 more each. I mean, Brigtsen's isn't cheap or inexpensive, but it's not priced for what you get and what you think it should be priced. It is a world-class, high-end, 5-star restaurant, as good as any in the city. So you're expecting to, walk out of there at, depending on how much you drink or not, at least 100 a head, and on up from there, depending on how you drink, how much you drink, whatever. And it's so much less than that. It's amazing. Just moderately priced. And I think you could put Brigtsen's in San Francisco, New York, Paris, and it'd be one of that city's best restaurants. So good. Corey Johnson with you on a Friday afternoon. The LSU women visiting the president at the White House today. One LSU Tiger, a freshman, actually fainted during that ceremony. I can relate to that. I've never fainted, but I get it. They had a photo. I guess we'll check it out on the news and see what actually went down. But it's Joe Biden talking to Angel Reese, and Angel Reese is just glowing. A few months ago, not going to the White House. What did I tell you? She'll change her mind, and she did. It's the White House. It's enormous. Angel Reese is 20 years old. When you're that age and you're that successful,
You have a lot of confidence in your opinions and how you think. But even so, confidence and being correct are two different things. When Angel Reese is 25, 30, 35, 40, 50 years old, she'll look back and go, boy, I was just a kid making those decisions at 20 years old, making those comments at 20 years old. I did notice some bling on Angel Reese. Looked like a Cartier watch, diamond-studded Cartier watch. Hey, speaking of diamonds, Friend and Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street in between Broadway and Carrollton. Friend and Company Fine Jewelers, real diamonds, natural diamonds, 1 billion years old. Tennis bracelets, diamond necklaces, diamond stud earrings, and New Orleanians that know Friend and Company Fine Jewelers when it comes to engagement rings, diamond engagement rings, real diamonds, natural diamonds. Friend and Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street in between Broadway and Carrollton.
Our Humane May fundraiser is going on right now. In the month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
Not a politician or part of a political machine. Corey Johnson.
I propose that I use what's left of the town treasury to move to a more prosperous town and run for mayor.
In Metro New Orleans on 93.9 FM and 107.9 FM.
Come on down to New Orleans' own Bourbon Street, the toilet of the Crescent City. Literally. Need to urinate? Pee right on one of the historic buildings. Need to vomit? It's okay. Throw up right in the street. Bourbon Street. Prostitution, drugs, strip joints, daiquiri shops, and trinket stores. The toilet of the Crescent City. Come on down. It's Bourbon Street.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Yeah, you're right. Corey Johnson back at you. If you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you missed Fridays with Fletcher Mackel joining us. We actually did get into sports eventually after like a segment or two on just New Orleans stuff. This hour, the 5 o'clock powwow, already a couple of guests joining us. Michael Hecht started off the show at 5:08, the hour, I should say. Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans, Inc. And Frank Brigtsen just joined us a few minutes ago from his world-class restaurant on this Fantasy Friday. Memorial Day weekend. Yeah, you're right. An extended weekend for most folks. Gotta like that. You know, the way I look at it, like over the next, 9 days, you're only working 4. You got 5 days of holiday, 3 this weekend, 3 next, and only a 4-day work week. Pretty cool, huh? Trying to stretch it into more than just a 3-day weekend. I bring next weekend into it, and hey, man, 5 days off, only 4 days working over the next 9. Yeah, you're right. It is the Memorial Day weekend, which means Greek Fest has opened their gates on Bayou St. John out by the lakefront. 48th year of Greek Fest. They literally opened their gates about 45 minutes ago. They'll go till 11 p.m. tonight, 11 till 11 tomorrow, 11 till 8 on Sunday. Supposed to be fantastic weather, no chance of rain, slightly lower humidity. It's really nice out on Bayou St. John, especially as the sun sets. A lot worse places to be than hanging out on the bayou, laying in the grass, listening to Greek music, eating a little lamb, maybe a shot of ouzo. Greek Fest, 48th year, and it's all Greek. No crawfish pies, no New Orleans music, Greek food, pure Greece. It's Greek Fest going on now out by the lakefront. NORA, a.k.a. the New Orleans Redevelopment District, they say they've got the Bayou Phoenix master plan. They've read it, and it has major flaws, major things missing. NORA says massive flaws. Like there's no way, they have their what together to get this done. Nothing about financing. And then Bayou Phoenix says, we need the signed lease to get the financing. I'll never forget Fred Hoffeinz, the old Houston mayor, Bob Arum, the boxing promoter. They formed Top Rank of Texas. And it was 30 years ago this week? 30 years ago this week. I remember the Times-Picayune. We got them. Talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves coming to New Orleans. The T-Wolves leaving Minneapolis and coming to New Orleans. I remember Michelle Tafoya, who's on CBS now for 30 years. I remember meeting her as a K-fan reporter and having her on my show. I met her at the state capitol. She was covering the story in Baton Rouge for K-fan in Minneapolis. I was covering it, from New Orleans, getting an NBA franchise. Now, I'll never forget that whole plan. Fred Hoffeinz, Bob Arum, Top Rank of Louisiana. They were going to pay the largest amount ever for an NBA franchise. I think 30 years ago it was like $170 million. Most of these franchises were valued around $120. So it was like almost 50% more. And that was part of the deal. That's what Bob Arum and Fred Hoffeinz were planning to do. We're going to give such a good deal, the NBA can't turn it down. But then ridiculously savvy and successful then NBA Commissioner David Stern realized that Fred Hoffeinz and Bob Arum don't really have any money to put up. They don't have the money to buy this team. But if the NBA granted Corey Johnson and Jason, a.k.a. the Ragin' Cajun, the rights to buy the T-Wolves, any financial institution in the world would lend us the money. So Stern realized they don't have the money. Without the NBA approving the deal, no bank will give them the money. We're not in the business of having a guy like Corey Johnson with no money, and I say it, half joking, half seriously, come into the league, get an approval of purchasing a team, and then therefore, since he's the one that has the approval, any bank's going to lend him the money. So sorry, it's like Boogie Nights. Pay for the music recordings, Marky Mark. You don't understand. If you give us the recordings, we go sell them to the record company. It's pure gold. We'll give you your money and a lot more. You don't understand. We own the recordings. Until you pay for the sessions, you don't get the tapes. Until you don't get the lease, you're not going to get the money. Of course, I could get money from a bank if I had the Six Flags lease. I think NORA might be right on this with Bayou Phoenix and Troy Henry and his crew. It's like anyone can do what you guys are doing. That's what made me skeptical of the deal to begin with, where Troy Henry, a local guy, is the winner, and Drew Brees and Demario Davis, a couple of Saints players, are runner-ups on the project. I'm like, what do they know about anything development-wise? They're football players. Even successful Drew Brees and Demario Davis. No, it should have been Flying J Truck Stop was the winner. Buc-ee's was the runner-up. Buc-ee's was the winner. Bass Pro Shops Cabela's was the runner-up. And Money Ready, shovels in the ground. This was 15 months ago. You have Bass Pro Shops, they're cutting the ribbon on the Bass Pro Shops in 6 months. If it's Buc-ee's, they're already open. But it's a local developer, locally done, New Orleans tainted, the whole 9 yards, typical. So Bayou Phoenix, maybe no go. Pontchartrain Beach, the Lakefront Management Authority rejects the lease with the Pontchartrain Beach Foundation. That appears to be a no-go. Holy smokes. Well, at least you can knock out your paint project over the weekend. Fantastic weather. Helm Paint and Decorating, 7 locations, high-quality Benjamin Moore products.
Knock out that paint project. Fantastic weather all weekend long, plus the extended Memorial Day holiday. Helm Paint and Decorating, all 7 locations open tomorrow. Go pick your colors, get your supplies, knock out that paint project. Do it once, do it right. They'll steer you in the right direction. Helm Paint and Decorating.
Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants. Leidenheimer French bread.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all of the time.
Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here, and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's families, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
At Home Paint and Decorating, our paints are in it for the long haul. In fact, our top bench more exterior paints come with a lifetime warranty. Not 25 years, not 50 years, we mean forever. You heard right. At Helm Paint, our top exterior paints have a lifetime warranty against chipping, peeling, and flaking. They also are mildew resistant. Imagine painting your home one time and being done with it. Visit any one of our locations today and make that once-in-a-lifetime purchase. Paint that has a lifetime warranty. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson.
Did you have any problems? There was a photo of her coming off the bus, holding the phone with the...
And that was a bunch of bull. That was Photoshop, that young lady. That's social media for you. How dare somebody do that?
No, I was wondering if it was Photoshopped or if it was real.
You just got the real answer from somebody who was there.
It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Our Humane May fundraiser is going on right now. In the month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org.
Is that Shannon dude? Who's that? It's Johnny Sketch of the Dirty Notes. All right, so much for that. Ofer. Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. If you missed the start of this hour, you missed Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc.
That segment's always brought to you by Latrim, the global manufacturing giant. They're always hiring at Latrim because they're always growing. A worldwide company, born, bred, based out of New Orleans. Go to latrim.com for a full listing of positions available. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M, latrim.com. Yeah, we had Fletcher Mackel on to start things off in the 4 o'clock hour. I know. Why did I do that? Michael Hecht joined us to start this hour, as I said. Frank Brigtsen joined us this hour as well, talking good food. The LSU women visiting the White House, the president, the first lady. What's that, Blue Boy? You want an LSU Lady Tiger jersey. I hear you. Look good on you, buddy. Look really good on you. Hey, everyone, have a great extended Memorial Day weekend. Yeah, you're right. Be safe. Light fuse, get away. See you next week, New Orleans and beyond.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.